Chapter 5. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through a multitude of business, and a fool's voice through a multitude of words. When you vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you vowest. Better is it that you shouldest not vow, than that you shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not your mouth to bring your flesh into guilt, neither say you before the messenger that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at your voice, and destroy the work of your hands? For through the multitude of dreams and vanities there are also many words. But fear you God. If you seest the oppression of the poor, and the violent perverting of justice and righteousness in the state, marvel not at the matter. For one higher than the high watches, and there are higher than they. But the prophet of the land every way is a king that makes himself servant to the field. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them, and what advantage is there to the owner thereof, saving the beholding of them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of the laboring man, whether he eat little or much, but the satiety of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. There is a grievous evil which I have seen under the sun, namely, riches kept by the owner thereof to his hurt, and those riches perish by evil adventure. And if he has begotten a son, there is nothing in his hand. As he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he go back as he came, and shall take nothing for his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. And this also is a grievous evil, that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit hath he that he laboureth for the wind? All his days also he eats in darkness, and he hath much vexation and sickness and wrath. Behold that which I have seen. It is good, yes, it is comely for one to eat and to drink and to enjoy the pleasure for all his labor, wherein he labors under the sun, all the days of his life which God hath given him, for this is his portion. Every man also to whom God hath given riches and wealth, he hath given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion and rejoice in his labor. This is the gift of God. For let him remember the days of his life, that they are not many. But God answers him in the joy of his heart. All right, let's go back up, verse 1. Continuing from the 4th chapter, in the King James Version, we'll find out the first verse here is the last verse of these texts that we're reading from. So we'll be reading starting with verse 2 and ending yet. The last chapter we had. Watch closely now when you're going about. You go to the house of the Lord. Don't be an idiot like somebody else that's just going to go down there and give that which makes everybody think they've done that which is right, when in their intent is not to do that which is right. They are going to continue. That's what a fool is. He has no understanding. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven, and you upon the earth. Therefore let your words be few. Don't be in a hurry to let your mouth go before the Lord. Don't be in a hurry to say something you don't mean to say before the Lord. For the Lord is in heaven. And this word heaven here is the Lord is above all things. He is above all things, and you are upon the earth. Therefore, let your words be few. So you shouldn't have a lot to say as a speaker of the Lord. We'll find out there's only a few words that we heard the Lord say. 2, for a dream comes through a multitude of business, and a fool's voice through a multitude of words. A dream comes through the multitude of business, and it takes a while to accomplish what you intend to do. So does the words of a fool. He accomplishes or makes himself known through the multitude of his words. 3, when you vow a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you vow. And that's what it comes down to. When you say you're going to do something, do it. And when you tell the Lord you're going to do something, do it. That's paying it. Paying it is to do it. And when we have an agreement with the Lord, we make a covenant with the Lord, this peaceful covenant. It's the agreement to keep his laws and his ordinances and statutes. So we can not only live a better life, but we can help bring a better life forward into all the earth. You need to do that. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you vow. Pay that which you said you was going to do. Do that which you said you was going to do. For better is it that you should not vow than you should vow and not pay. So it's better that you would have not made the agreement than to make that agreement and not do it. 5. Suffer not your mouth to bring your flesh into guilt. Neither say you before the messenger, it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at your voice and destroy the work of your hands? Don't suffer your mouth to bring your flesh. Don't say you're going to do it, and when your full intent is to not do it, you're just trying to act like you're going to make somebody happy. Don't say before the messenger. That's the one that comes. You can hear him speak within you. There was an error. I didn't make this agreement. Why are you here? Why would God be angry? Why would you want to make God angry at your voice, at the sound of this word? And he would destroy the work of your hands, or that which you're trying to do. 6. For through the multitude of dreams and vanities there are also many words. But fear you God. Through the multitude of dreams and vanities, it's not going to get you nowhere. There's a lot of words to say and pleasure, beautiful, wonderful things. But in the end, you should be fearing the Lord, keeping that agreement, reverencing. Remember the reason that you made it. 7. If you see the oppression of the poor, and the violent perverting justice, and the righteousness in the state, marvel not at the matter. For one higher than the high watches, and there are higher than they. And sooner or later, the Lord, the one highest over all, is going to do something about the matter, because nobody else is. Nobody else is. So when you see these things, and you get a little older, you'll see these things, and don't marvel. Don't be surprised. We'll find out they was going on then. They're going on now. Nothing's changing. Nobody's teaching the law. If they're teaching it, they're not getting no understanding across with it. 8. But the prophet of the land every way is a king that makes himself servant to the field. But the prophet of the land will find out the goodness relies in a king or this ruler that will make himself servant to the field, servant to all those, even those outside that city which he dwells. 9. He that loves silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loves abundance with increase. This is also vanity. The one that loves silver is just going to look at it like money. He ain't going to be satisfied with money. Nor does he love the abundance with the increase. Or neither does this one that loves abundance with the increase. He's not going to be satisfied with it. That's going to be like interest or something, a little bit of usury or something taken with some increase back. He's not satisfied even with that. Enough's never enough. Wealth, those type of riches don't satisfy. 10. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what advantage is there to the owner thereof, saving the beholding of them with his eyes? When goods increased, they are increased that eat them. We'll find out that's what the purpose of it would be, for all to enjoy, especially those that help bring him in, help in the harvest. At that time, today, we have a lot more merchandising than just those kind of goods. And the advantage of it, what advantage is there just to the owner or the one that's over all of it to keep stacking it up in the bank and keep it from those that are in need of it, that they're actually going to use the product yet it's put out of reach. The cost of it is greater than the cost of the wages that's created by making it. Sooner or later, this becomes a folly, and it leads to disaster. We'll find out, because the rats are going to get in there and eat all the money. 11. Sweet is the sleep of the laboring man, whether he eat little or much, but the satiety of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Now, sweet is the sleep of the laboring man. He basically passes out from his efforts. Whether he eats little or much, it ain't going to much matter. He won't last much long. But the satiety, and this satiety is the excessiveness, or the much. King James Version says abundance. The word is sabah, and it means his plentiness, his sufficiency, we should say. His sufficiency of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. He don't find no rest, because enough's never enough. 12. There's a grievous evil which I've seen under the sun, namely, riches kept by the owner thereof to his hurt. Enough's enough. Sooner or later, see, then we get this overabundance stacked up, and it's stacked up for the moths to eat and the rats to come and ruin. That's what it's for, believe it or not. Some think they're too smart and they can get away and hide it. Well, you will for a while. It's an end to all good things. And riches kept by the owner thereof is to his hurt. He stores it up, that which he doesn't need, and there are those that go without. 13. And those riches perish by evil adventure. And if he hath begotten a son, there's nothing in his hand. And what happens is those riches end up perishing. They end up being done away with by some evil adventure, some misadventure, some stupid ideal. And if he's begotten a son, this one that's going to come after him, there's nothing in his hand. He's got nothing to leave him. It wouldn't matter whether, perchance, that he was somebody that had understanding and was going to do something with it. But it won't do no good. See, we'll find out it's all for nothing. 14. As he comes forth from his mother's womb naked, shall he go back as he came, and shall take nothing for his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. Just like he come forth into this world, you was naked. Everybody was. There's no great shame in that. Everybody's born naked, and everybody's gonna, when you leave here, you're not even gonna have that. See, you're gonna leave that part behind too, and it doesn't matter if they put clothes on it or not. It's not gonna matter. You're gonna go back just like you came. Nothing. You're taking nothing with you, and it doesn't matter. The only thing we have is to leave a remembrance, and that's going to be your greatest mark. It only lasts for a while, but we'll find out. It's going to be whether it's a good or a bad memory. 15. And this also is a grievous evil, that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit hath he that he labors for the wind? And this is a grievous evil. And that's we're talking about that guy. Just like he came, he's leaving here. Just like these points, it's just like, exactly like, the same as he came, so shall he go. Except for one thing, he's going to have to leave the old flesh behind. Now, what profit has he that labors for the wind? Labors for nothing. 16. All his days also he eats in darkness, and he hath much vexation, sickness, and wrath. All his days he eats in darkness. That it got no understanding. It consumes. It's for nothing. There's no understanding. There's no good. It's for no good. He hath much vexation. There's just trouble. He's always got worries. The sickness. This whatever kind of sickness it is. Cold and flus and all kinds of stuff. Messing with all the trouble. There's disease and that kind of sickness and wrath. It's just trouble and oppression. See, he's always got those troubles. 17. Behold that which I've seen. It is good. Yes, it is comely for one to eat and to drink and to enjoy the pleasure for all his labor, wherein he labors under the sun, all the days of his life, which God hath given him. For this is his portion. Now behold, that's what I've seen. All this that everybody, it's all just a bunch of waste of time. You've got nothing really better to do. It is comely, it is good for one to eat and to drink, to enjoy the pleasure for all his labor. Enjoy what you're working for. Enjoy. And if you're not enjoying it, you're not doing a pleasurable labor. It's a pretty simple thing. Wherein he labors under the sun, take the benefits and the reward from it, all the days of his life, which God has given him. God give man his life. He didn't give it to somebody else. And this is his portion. This is what he's got coming from his labor. But we'll find there's always somebody trying to get their hand in the pie. 18. Every man also to whom God hath given riches and wealth, and hath given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor. This is the gift of God. And it's every man. There's nobody exempt from this. God has given riches and wealth. Everybody got some kind of share in it all. He's given him power to eat thereof. He gets his food and his portion, his substance, to rejoice in his labor. You can thank God because it's something that he gives you, this ability to sustain yourself. 19. For let him remember the days of his life, that they are not many, for God answers him in the joy of his heart. Now you can remember the days of your life. That's how many days you're going to live. They're not many. And God wants to answer you or give you in the joy of your heart what that your substance is. This is your portion in the life. It doesn't belong to somebody else. We will pick this up in chapter 6. Turn and return.